and that things got actually worse after Gaddafi. It also sent a terrible message to the world, and this is one that still is resonating, that if you negotiate with the U.S., you give up your nuclear weapons in good faith, and then you still may get killed. And so it's just not a great lesson as far as negotiating. You can see why people don't want to negotiate away their nuclear rights. But people who have nuclear weapons look at the countries who do and say, well, maybe it's better to have them than not have them, because it looks like people won't mess with you if you have nuclear weapons. I'm not encouraging other countries to have it. I'm just saying that that is their perception. But I think the discussion you were seeing there is of the unintended consequences throughout the Middle East. And you can see how people, when the Arab Spring happened, were like, oh, my goodness, this will be so great. It'll be hopeful. You know, all of these monarchies and dictatorships and sheikdoms be overthrown, and we'll have democracy throughout the Middle East. But it didn't turn out that way. And it turned out with millions of people dislocated, hundreds of thousands of people killed in dozens of countries.
Can you see any scenario where American boots get on the ground in Iran?
Zero from my perspective. I will not vote to send American kids to Iran. I think it's a terrible mistake. Every war is not our war. Our country is bankrupting itself over our own obligations to our own people. We should not ever send one soldier to Iran. And I hope I'm pretty clear on that.
But I just want to address the point he said before we move on, because contrary to what I said, he keeps saying that Iran's not a threat to America. So since Scott decided to become Iran's mouthpiece, can you please clarify for me what Khomeini means when he says death to America, death to the West, and forceful conversions? Can you translate in the language that you so clearly understand that all of us are missing? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, Khomeini died in 1989. You don't know what you're talking about. Second of all, the chant, you'll notice, all of y'all in the audience and on the panel notice how often the Hawks bring this up and how much heavy lifting these chants are doing. Are you so terrified of chants? In fact, they have no Air Force, they have no Navy, they have no ability, they have no offensive force that they can threaten this country with. So in other words, you're saying you're really upset because they're hurting your feelings by some stupid chant.
No, you are naive. It's okay.
America could have normalized relations with Iran 30 years ago.
Trump gave him 60 days. We didn't have to do this at all. Trump gave him 60 days, and they were too egotistical to meet at the negotiating table.
He had no right to do that.
For this. They had no right to negotiate.
Do that. They have the right to a civilian nuclear program. They're members of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, unlike Israel, which has a secret nuclear weapons program.
Understood.
Okay, I do want to bring in the others.
They have the right to civilian nuclear technology.
I do want to bring in the other two. Look, if you're Israel, why would you not seek to try and dismantle a regime that has gone out of its way through proxy groups to destroy you?
Well, it depends what kind of government you are if you're Israel. If you're a government that is committed to peace in the region, you would explore the available diplomatic opportunities, and there have been plenty. If you're a government like Israel, which it actually is, which is committed to hegemony and supremacy, of course you will see any group or country that challenges your supremacy as a threat. And that's why Israel is going after Iran. Iran supports groups, and all of whom you named, that resist Israeli aggression. Hezbollah, for example, why does it exist? It was founded in response to Israel's invasion in 1982, which killed tens of thousands of people. The aim of that invasion was to basically wipe out the PLO, the main Palestinian group at that time. Israel will not accept any right to Palestinian self-determination, and that's why it has enemies in the region. That's the fundamental problem. Iran even has endorsed the global consensus of a two-state solution in which Palestinians accept as 22% of their historic homeland, which was stolen from them by Israel. Even Iran has. Israel won't accept that because it's committed to occupation and supremacy. Iran has also proposed that there be a nuclear-free Middle East. So if you don't want us to get nuclear weapons, no one should have nuclear weapons. Israel won't even entertain that because Israel wants to threaten everybody else to preserve its hegemony. There also was the Iran nuclear deal, which everybody involved says Iran was respecting. It's only Israel, because of its foundational commitment to supremacy and aggression, which it continues to attack everybody else because it doesn't want anybody resisting its occupation and displacement, ethnic cleansing, and now mass murder of Palestinians.
I really have a very hard time believing that Netanyahu called him, said, hey, bro, trust me, they have a nuclear weapon. And Trump was like, yeah, let's get involved. I think we know it's a little bit more.
That's exactly what happened, given that Trump is ignoring what his own director of national intelligence said. which has been bolstered in recent days by leaks to CNN and the New York Times, in which as Scott mentioned earlier, even the latest intelligence reports say the same thing. And there was no convincing evidence provided by Israel. This is basically the Iraq WMD hoax, wherein Dick Cheney, got the intelligence. He knew there was no Iraq WMD, so he ordered it to be fabricated, including through torture. This is basically the Iraq WMD hoax, except this time Trump isn't bothering to fabricate. He's just outsourcing the job to Israel.